Shut up and sit down.
Welcome everybody. Hello once again. Welcome to episode 14 of the Super Grapple Bros podcast. The podcast about two brothers who are former WWE employees that happen to love video games and wrestling. So we talk about it in podcast form.
Yep.
Both visually for you guys on Twitch and YouTube, as well as audio-wise on SoundCloud, iTunes, and various other places where podcasts are found.
Yep.
I am your host. I am host numero uno or numero dos. We don't pick priority.
Sure.
El Murpho, and I am also joined by
Your champion host, DMurph.
sorry who
The champ
the
that is
who?
here.
The soon to be ex champ as of next week.
We'll see about that.
I see Errolly and Cam are in the chat, so hello to you guys. How's it going?
What's up?
We are going to go ahead and jump right into things. Why don't you get us started with Raw?
Well, Raw started off with a very nice promo from Enzo Amore, who basically came out and just started talking about how Cass made a huge mistake, and that he's going to realize that when he gets the next merchandising check.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about how Cass was just using Enzo as a mouthpiece to get more attention for himself, and that he's going to regret turning on him like he did.
Yeah, it was a very impassioned promo. Hi, man. Before we get further into it, I forgot to mention that this week, what we are discussing is, in addition to our regular weekly discussion, we are doing our Great Balls of Fire, goodness gracious predictions.
Still don't know who thought that was a good idea for a pay-per-view, but
I have no idea. That was an awful idea. But then, and in addition to that, on the video game side, we will be talking about the big Overwatch news with Doomfist, who is an awesome character. I got to play him for a little bit. We'll get into that later. And then we've also got Shadow of Mordor update on Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, and a couple other things. But anyway, back to Enzo Amore. That was a really impassioned promo, and I think that was like his strongest promo ever of his career.
I only have one slight critique about it, and that's the fact that he seemed to end his promo and then come back and grab the mic and say something else and then end it again.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that,
he was super fired up, super impassioned. It made you believe that he actually has a shot to beat Big Cass, especially since he jumped Big Cass during an interview segment later on after that. It's good to see, because up until now I thought this was just going to be a squash match. So maybe Big Cass, if he wins on Sunday, he will actually have to battle with Enzo, and it will actually be a war.
Yeah, I mean, Enzo's a scrappy guy, so I think it's going to take a lot to take him down.
Mm-hmm. So that was all good. Moving on after that, we had Sasha Banks versus Bayley versus Alexa Bliss and Nia Jackson. Poor Bayley.
Yeah.
Poor Bayley. I don't know if they're trying to make her get this destroyed and look so weak because she's going to eventually snap or something, or
after she kisses a boy
maybe
at SummerSlam. God, that'll be so bad.
Or if they're trying to sow more seeds for the whole future Sasha Banks Bayley rivalry, where Bayley needed Sasha's help almost all the time to get and keep that championship, and Sasha won the number one contendership without her help, and won that 2-on-1 match without her help.
She basically got it turned into a handicap match and still won.
Mm-hmm. So I feel awful for Bayley because I feel like she's so terribly treated right now, but I do see things being sown for the future. So while I want to be this is awful, they're burying Bayley, they're destroying Bayley, at the same time I'm kind of I want to wait and see where they go from here and what they do.
Well, I think it's mostly right now just bad writing and bad booking way of keeping her kind of out of the spotlight, seeing as how the spotlight right now is on Alexa, Nia, and Sasha.
Yeah.
I feel like they could do more and better, have her doing something with Nia Jax, being all upset that Nia beat her first in that gauntlet match, and maybe have a match between them on the kickoff show or something like that. Give the women 2 matches. Because, Bayley and Nia have done it a good amount of times, and they've always been pretty good when they've had matches and stories together. I don't see why they don't just do something like that, because then it could still tie it together, but whatever.
I just don't know. Like,
It's unfortunate. Hopefully.
we've gone from seeing, like I said again, I think I said this last week, like 1 year ago, like a crowd erupted when Bayley was just in a match when she had just come up from NXT.
Yeah, exactly.
To like, and her being the hottest thing in women's wrestling, to just being like, she's
Bayley. She won the title. We've got nothing for her.
After her rise in NXT, like I haven't felt this way about Bayley since I saw her have a match for the NXT Women's Championship against Charlotte back in NXT like 3 years ago. Like, that was back before Bayley became Bayley and got really good and super over.
Mm-hmm.
When she was still working and she was still kind of behind Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha out of the 4 horsewomen. And then she eventually started to get better and became, like, arguably potentially the best out of all 4 of them.
Yeah.
And I haven't had this feeling of like, yeah, it's Bayley.
For a long time.
For a long, long time. And it sucks.
Just
because I love Bayley.
I approve of that name. I think I would prefer WWE presents the pay-per-view Marvin over Great Balls of Fire.
Martin, you mean?
Yep. Either one. I need new glasses. Anyway.
Yeah, so you can take the next segment.
Alright, after that we had Cedric Alexander come out and basically call out Noam Dar because he thought that he was done with Dar and Fox and is sick of it. And wanted to face Dar one more time, and Dar came out, and they had a match, and Lisa Fox was all like, I'm in a net brace, what are you gonna do?
It's almost as if Cedric Alexander is the voice of the fans.
I know.
Cedric Alexander versus Noam Dar, please, for the love of God, don't do this match anymore.
Yeah, seriously. But he beat Dar, and hopefully he can move on to bigger and better things, like maybe facing Neville or someone for the Cruiserweight Championship at SummerSlam.
That'd be good. That'd be nice.
That'd be an amazing match.
Yeah, like, Noam Dar is another guy where it's like, what the hell is he doing? He got Alicia Fox, and now he's just been... I mean, nobody really watches 205 Live right now. It sucks. And it's not so much the fact the product is bad. It's just they air it after SmackDown to an unenthused crowd, a dead crowd, and, like, there's already so much wrestling. Like, and not just the fact there's so much wrestling on WWE too, but like New Japan's been stepping its game up.
Well,
like
I mean, just
the Kenny Omega, the Omega Okada 2 match, killed, and then the G1 happened this weekend, which I still need to watch, but I heard was amazing as well.
Can I say something quickly?
What?
Did you hear the news about Okada?
What happened? Did he get hurt?
No, he was at the shows. There's actually a picture that Jim Ross shared on Facebook of Okada standing next to Finn Balor wearing his Balor Club leather jacket and Balor having like a look on his face. And he was apparently watching, I think it was SmackDown Live, from the gorilla position the entire show.
Where did SmackDown and Raw happen this week?
I think it was in California.
That's why, because the G1 climax over the weekend happened in LA.
Yeah, but that's still awesome though that he was there doing that kind of stuff.
Believe me, like the fact that WWE has signed Kenta and they've signed Shinsuke Nakamura and they've signed other people from New Japan. They have their eyes on New Japan, and if based on what Okada and Omega have done this year, like if you were to tell me, WWE only wants Omega, they don't want Okada because he's Japanese. No, they see what they can do with Okada, and they want both of those guys.
Yeah, that it would definitely not be true because I mean, just look at not only Shinsuke, but they've got Hideo back now that he's not injured, and also Asuka, the longest reigning undefeated champion in WWE history.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty high on Japanese superstars.
I'm pretty sure if WWE can get Okada and Omega, they will, and they will put them into NXT, and they will immediately put them into the main event scene against whoever's in the main event at that point, which I would imagine if they are able to sign Omega when his contract runs out next year, that would certainly be, at that point, I would imagine it would either be Itami or Galloway. Or Drew McIntyre, who will have the championship.
I don't think it's going to be Itami just because I'm hoping that by that point Itami will be up on the main roster. I'm hoping that after this thing with Cassius Ohno, he's going up to the main roster.
I think he's going to go up to the main roster after probably WrestleMania next year. I could see him. I think this whole, if you ask me, I think this whole rivalry with Cassius Ohno, which we'll get to because some stuff happened.
Yeah.
Not as much as you would think, but stuff happened in NXT. I believe that they're going to use Cassius Ohno as a vehicle to turn a Tommy heel, so that way when Galloway wins the championship from Roode, and then maybe Roode goes away, they actually have a top heel. Because if you think about it, they really don't have many top-level heels aside from... I mean, you could throw Eric Young or Killian Dane in there against Galloway if you want.
I'm surprised.
But,
I would think it'd be Eric Young because, I mean, we haven't seen Eric Young go for the title yet.
We haven't seen Eric Young, and interestingly enough, they brought up the fact that Killian Dane's apparently now talking about going for the NXT Championship. They brought that up in an interview with McIntyre this week.
Interesting.
So, is Eric Young on the outs with WWE, or is there going to be a little, like, sanity schism between Dane and Young for the NXT Championship?
Well, I mean, with the promo that they did last week on NXT with Alexander Wolf, I think that he's kind of taking a little bit of a back seat right now. Mm-hmm. Because he's coming up with his master plan.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We're getting ahead of ourselves in NXT anyway, but yeah. Cruiserweight stuff. Cedric Alexander, really good guy. Like Cam says, you know, he was so over in the Cruiserweight Classic. Yeah. And, like, they threw him. What happened was basically they didn't put him on. The reason why he fell apart is because they didn't put him on TV. Once the Cruiserweight division came over, they really didn't put him on TV that much, or at least in a memorable rivalry. Yeah. Because pretty much everybody else has gotten a turn in the Cruiserweight division, unless you're like Drew Gulak or Noam Dar. And he got locked into this rivalry with Noam Dar, which nobody cares about, with Dar and Alicia Fox's love triangle thing, and he's just been spinning his wheels ever since. But if this is a way to turn it around, then I'm looking forward to it, because the dude can wrestle. Oh yeah, they just need to give him a chance.
I think it's also just because with the fact that they put him on 205 Live, and it's a 1-hour show, and you're trying to showcase the entire Cruiserweight division, people don't normally get that much of a chance to do what they want to in the ring. It's like, okay, you've got 15 minutes, and that includes entrances and promos and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just... I feel that way about a lot of people in the Cruiserweight Classic, because I liked a lot of people in the Cruiserweight Classic. They just, with the way they've been doing 205 Live, they haven't been getting that much to do much in general.
Yeah, again, I really think they should do 205 Live before SmackDown instead of after SmackDown, kind of like what they did with ECW when ECW was a thing, and they were doing ECW and SmackDown tapings at the same time. And I think that would inject a lot more life into 205 Live. The crowd would be into it, be more entertained, and that would make the on-air product better. Exactly. And more like of a commodity to watch. Mm-hmm. They already do it with do hour-long episodes, Cam. It's just the fact that they piggyback them on the back of a SmackDown taping, and like unless you wanted to have 205 Live instead of it being like a show that they do like on the road, because the Cruiserweight Classic had its roots in NXT and Full Sail, like maybe you make it another Full Sail show. Where you bring it into Full Sail, where you know the crowd's going to be energized. Maybe you have NXT tapings on a Thursday and 205 Live tapings on a Friday or something like that. Yeah. It could be a thing that they do. But, like, 205 Live definitely needs improvements. I don't think it should go away. I think there's a lot of talented guys on there. I just think they need to tweak. Yeah, they need to tweak it and change it so that those guys have a better opportunity to shine, and that show has a better opportunity to succeed. Yeah. Let's move on. And on Raw.
Yeah, after that, they did Miz TV, where Miz was talking about how he had the most talked Miz TV because of LeVar Ball, and it was...
And it wasn't because of LeVar Ball, it wasn't because of the Miz.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, that's enough. And he had the Miz Tourage with them, which I still would have think would have been better to be called the Entourage, but then Dean Ambrose came out talking about how he wanted his title match right then and there, and then Heath Slater came out saying that he was the last person to get a pinfall of the Miz.
This was good.
And that he deserved a shot. And I loved how he's like, I got kids. I'm not bringing in the kind of money, and I need this in order to take care of them. And Rhino was just kind of like, yeah. And then Angle came out, and I like
Rhino's new shirt that says, I'm with Heath.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also like that Angle came out, and Miz was being very disrespectful. He's like, I'm your star here. And I watched it, I'm like, you're a star. I mean, they've got Brock Lesnar. They've got Samoa Joe. Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt. They've got a lot of...
I don't know if I'd put Bray Wyatt above The Miz at this point right now.
Bray Wyatt held the WWE Championship more recently than The Miz.
But The Miz is more entertaining and more of a draw right now than Bray Wyatt is.
True, but Bray Wyatt is also getting chances to possibly wrestle for the Universal Championship in a Fatal 5-Way match.
The Miz also was able to beat John Cena at WrestleMania.
Okay. Miz did one thing because of Rock the Dwayne Johnson. But, yeah. And he disrespected Angle, and Angle was like, well, guess what? Now you're going to have 2 title defenses. And one is happening now with that suit on. Mm-hmm. And it was a really good match.
And he ripped his pants.
Yep. God, Michael Cole. Good humor, pants. Shut the hell up, Michael Cole.
But it was a good match. Like, I expected Miz to win really, really quickly.
Yeah, I kind of expected.
But Slater hung in there, and actually, like, it made me think, like, wow, are they actually gonna like push Slater? Are they gonna make Slater like not a jobber and make him like an actual contender? Because like Heath Slater is one of the coolest dudes I ever like interacted with backstage, and like he does have a personality. He does have a good personality. He has grown into like good charisma. His current gimmick with the whole "I got kids" thing is catchy. So like make him like a legitimate contender. Like maybe put him in the mix for the Intercontinental Championship eventually. Because that was good, and he had a good match with Miz.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I also, like, kind of going back to 205 that I think would be good for someone like Slater. Mm-hmm. One thing I like about 205 Live is it has a championship, which you see on another show. I would not mind if, because I think they're still doing main event technically, right? I think so.
They're doing what?
The show main event?
No, the main event's done, I think.
Oh, I thought they were still doing it or whatever. But anyway, if they were doing something like that and had something like, we're going to bring back the WWE European Championship or something and have another title on there and have people that are lower on the card have a chance to do it and be featured on the main show and stuff. I feel like that would be a great fit for Slater right now. Gets him to do more work, gets him a title, gets him more time, then can move up to that. I feel like with WWE, they kind of have a big drop between the bottom and the first championship.
I think if they build this properly, and maybe they put him into the mix for the championship at SummerSlam, I could be okay with watching him actually beat Miz and hold the championship for like a month and run a program with the Miz.
Oh, I would love to see him.
Especially if you build into the fact that he refused to join the Miztourage, and the Miztourage is made up of his formal social outcast friends. There's a story to be told there. You can actually make that work. And it would get Dean Ambrose to do something else, which, God, he needs to do something else. And I think he needs to be away from the Intercontinental Championship for a while. Because I feel like the Intercontinental Championship mix he's been in for the last year has killed him. Has killed his momentum.
And he was doing great when he won the WWE Championship. And then they were like, we want to give it to AJ Styles. Okay, well, we're going to have Dean Ambrose wrestle for him for a while.
That wasn't that bad.
And then we're going to drop you off. Wait, what?
His rivalry with AJ Styles was pretty good. But they got a little ridiculous with it, I think, if I remember at the end. And, like, the first opponent they gave him was Dolph Ziggler. And, like, Dolph was not at the point of his career where he was able to, like, just suddenly jump into the main event and people could be able to get behind him again.
That's why he did great when he was doing a thing with The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying with Dean, it was, he came in, he had a program with Dolph. Then he had a program with AJ, and he lost. Then he continued with AJ for a little while and lost. And then he just kind of dropped off.
I think that one of the biggest problems with Dean Ambrose when he's a champion, because he's great when he's chasing a championship, I think. I mean, granted, he's chasing a championship now and it's kind of slacked off, but he's at his best when he's chasing a championship and doing wacky, ridiculous, insane things, almost a la Stone Cold Steve Austin. Mm-hmm. Like when he was chasing the WWE Championship for the first time a couple of years ago with Seth Rollins. Like, I feel like you have to keep him as that unpredictable type character instead of like the I don't give a crap kind of like leather jacket wearing dude who comes down and is like, I don't care if you've done this or that. Quirky line. I'm going to beat you up now.
And another thing I would like to see with him holding a championship, I mean, one thing Dean Ambrose always goes on about is when he's got a title, he's willing to fight anywhere, anytime. He's a fighting champion. Yet, why is it that when he's holding a title, he doesn't defend his title more often? Like, why don't they have him do something like when he's Intercontinental Champion, do what John Cena did, where every week, he would do a weekly open challenge, and not even necessarily do it every week, but maybe like every other week, have Dean Ambrose do an open challenge defending his championship because, you know what, I worked hard to get here, I'm going to prove that I deserve this, I'm going to defend this because I'm a fighting champion and I want to prove that I am an actual champion, and do something like that, because then that would give other people, like, imagine him doing an open challenge and Heath Slater coming out and him having a kind of match similar to Miz did with Heath Slater this last week on Raw. It helps Dean Ambrose solidify himself as a champion, make his character better, and it also gets to showcase other people, giving them a shot that they don't normally get. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of stuff they need to do, but they're just slacking.
Yeah. I don't know if a triple threat would have worked for Sunday because I feel like that would have been a little too rushed to just have Slater in there.
Maybe at SummerSlam.
But at SummerSlam, if they build it. So to your point, Cam, and yeah, I agree earlier. I don't like the word Miztourage at all. The only thing I can think of that made sense is that maybe Entourage is still copyrighted or something by HBO or Showtime, the company that had the show. Yeah. And maybe by using the word Entourage for a stable, they could legally get into trouble.
Yeah,
it's the only reasonable defense I can come up with because I think the name Miztourage is terrible.
They could have even just gone so far as it's the Miz and his entourage.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we got to move on.
Yeah, seriously. After that, they had the segment of the Shattered Truth, which was not as great as I was hoping it would be. And then R-Truth
I thought
it was alright, but I was having more hopes for this story because then it just turned to R-Truth suddenly in the ring behind him eating popcorn and then attacked him and when are they going to have an actual match on a pay-per-view?
I thought it was interesting. Probably SummerSlam at this point.
But I mean,
which is another month and a half away.
Are they? Because look at all the storylines they've got going on Raw.
I don't know.
And then you've got to have SmackDown.
I don't have those answers, and they're not on the card for Great Balls of Fire.
But that's what I'm saying.
I just thought it was entertaining. That was entertaining.
No, I agree. I'm just saying I wish they would have done more with that segment, and it's just a matter of I don't see them actually getting to have a match on a pay-per-view anytime soon, and that's what upsets me about it. But. So that happened, and then there was Seth Rollins versus Kurt Hawkins, which was literally 2 moves and the end of the match.
I mean,
I liked it.
It was a thing. I mean, at least we got to see Seth Rollins hit his knee again, even though it was once again against the same person, Kurt Hawkins.
The one thing that bothered me is then he was talking about Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt was a no-show.
Yeah, and then Bray Wyatt showed up later talking in the desert about nonsense. And honestly, I hate to say it because I used to love Bray Wyatt. And I still want to love Bray Wyatt. But every time I see him do a promo and he starts spouting nonsense, I'm like, I can tune out. Because, I don't care what he says. Because nothing matters. Because you haven't really won anything. You won the WWE Championship, yes. But you lost it right away. And every time you go talking on about how you're the new face of fear, you're the eater of worlds, you're going to destroy these people, you get beat.
Yeah.
Which is why I think he needs to win Sunday to try and restore that credibility. But if he wins Sunday, do I think if he starts spouting nonsense again that he's going to be speaking truth? No. I feel like he's been beaten down so bad, which is insane considering that he was WWE champion in February.
Yeah, I mean, that's also poor booking.
You don't believe anything he says. I feel like he needs to put together a string of wins and win a string of feuds and, not lose for a long time in order for me to actually take him seriously again. And he needs to, put somebody down like a Braun Strowman or a Roman Reigns. A seriously, big time... Because Seth Rollins, big time dude, but he's in a bit of a slump himself. So just beating Seth Rollins isn't going to be enough. It was kind of like when he beat Dean Ambrose in that rivalry where it was like, oh, this could be good. And then it was like, oh, this isn't good. Both their momentum are dead. This really isn't much of a win for Bray. It's that situation.
Yeah. They just need to do more with Bray, and it's upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
After that, they did the interviews with Samoa Joe and Lesnar, which was, I'm going to beat you. No, I'm going to beat you. But, no, I'm going to beat you. But, no, I'm going to beat you. But I'm going to beat you. I understand. I thought it was all right, but I'm just saying it's they didn't really go into too much detail there. That I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to lock in the Coquina Clutch. But I'm going to beat you up. But Coquina Clutch.
No, that's not.
You know what? I'm going to go find you.
It's not really how the promo went, to me. It was more Joe was making threats, and Lesnar was just laughing it off and being like, look, man, you attacked my manager and you snuck attack me. You haven't proven crap. Yeah. And Joe is like, oh, you want me to prove it? I will come find you. And that was cool because then it got intense, and Joe actually went and tried to fight Lesnar face to face while Lesnar just laughed at him, which I thought was awesome because it shows Lesnar being like, look, dude, people say you made me look weak, but what did you do? You choked out Paul Heyman? Oh, good job. Good job. That's really hard to do. And it's like, oh, and you jumped me from behind once and we brawled a little bit? You think I'm intimidated? I've beaten Goldberg. I've beaten The Undertaker. I broke the streak. Like, who the hell are you? And Joe's like, oh, real? And then Joe fired up and got really into it and wanted to, like, kill Lesnar. And I thought it did exactly what it needed to do. It made Lesnar a little stronger, and it made you think, like, you know, oh, Joe's been doing good, but, you know, Lesnar's got a point. What's he going to do when they come face to face? But then Joe fired up, and you're like, okay, there's that fire. Maybe he does still stand a legitimate shot. I thought it did exactly what it needed to do.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
It was alright. When I heard that they were going to do that and saw the setup, I was thinking they would do more along the lines of, like, the interviews that they did with Samoa Joe and Finn Balor and Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura in NXT when they were having feuds over their titles, where it was more, like, in-depth, and he wasn't just like, well, I'm going to come attack you. It was, I'm going to beat you. I know this about you. This is how I'm going to come beat you. You're not going to take this from me, or I'm going to take that from you. You underestimate me, things like that.
Well, the thing is that it works in most situations, but not this one because it's Brock Lesnar. He did that as an intimidation factor, and Brock Lesnar is the one superstar right now who is like, you can't intimidate him.
I don't know. Anyway, after that they did Neville versus Mustafa Ali.
Good match.
I
Probably
got
the
to
best
see
match of the night.
the beginning of this match.
Mustafa Ali killed it.
Oh, I believe
I was
he's
like,
really good.
where the hell was Mustafa Ali been, and why has he not been on TV more often? Because he had a hell of a friggin' match against Neville on Monday.
No, I believe it. And then after that, there was Finn Balor versus Cesaro, which I heard was good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to see it, unfortunately.
Finn Balor and Cesaro. Yeah, that was really good. Of course, the quality of match you would expect from those two to have.
Yeah, exactly.
Post-match shenanigans with interference from Cesaro, and the Drifter came out, Elias Sampson, and, you know, the Hardys got involved, and, you know, people dove and stuff, and all that kind of things. And it was also announced that the tag title match this weekend is going to be a 30-minute Iron Man match.
Yeah, I remember that, because I remember there was a promo with Cesaro and Sheamus with Kurt Angle, and Sheamus was like, you're almost as good as Mick Foley. I mean, he had the smarts to pair the two of us together, so you're not that good, but this is still a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that. I was like, kind of like that. And then after that, there was Braun Strowman versus Apollo Crews.
Which I didn't mind. Braun Strowman freaking murdered Crews on that kick.
Surprised.
Like, I saw that, and I'm like, no, they did not just do that. They did not just do that. And they did. They did. And Strowman murdered him. Crews put up a little bit of a fight, and this helps sow tension between him and Titus for the Titus brand storyline. And it also was good on Titus's character to show him standing up for Apollo Crews and getting murdered as well, because it's like he may be a dick, and he may get his clients into tough situations, but it's more because he's confident in them, not so much that he wants to see him get beat up, and he will stick up for them.
Yeah. He's confident in them and supports them and will back them up.
Mm-hmm. But of course, Strowman does as Strowman does, which is destroy people.
And go, except like a tenth of that. But anyway.
Yeah. And then he went to go put, I think it was Titus, not Apollo, right? Titus into the ambulance.
I didn't get to see
and
it.
Was like, tap, tap. Come on, buddy. Come on, mysterious ambulance driver. Tap, tap. Open up the door so I can put a guy in the ambulance. Went over to the door. You're not my buddy. Out comes Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Roman jumps Braun Strowman, spears him off the stage through, like, what I assume to be tables and cardboard boxes and stuff like that. But the important thing here is Reigns got back onto the stage to one knee. Strowman was standing, leaning up against the ambulance at the end when everything went off the air. So it's like Reigns came back, hit his best move, and stood tall. But Strowman almost kind of sort of shrugged it off and was standing up, albeit hurt and bent over. But he took a spear off the entrance ramp and was standing like a couple minutes later when the show went off the air.
Yeah.
Like a minute or two later. So, very interesting. Good end to the night for Raw. Now on to SmackDown Live. I'm going to have to read this stuff. Cena came out and explained his free agent status, which finally made the thing make sense. I don't know why they didn't just say, "Oh, it's John Cena returns," and then have Cena explain this right away and say, "I'm coming out as a free agent, not as a representative of SmackDown Live." And the way he said it was that he had negotiated his contract to where he could be a free agent because he's at the point of his career. He's not going to be around all the time, week in, week out all the time, where he's not going to be able to wrestle a lot. And so he wants to be able to face the best of the best on both brands. So as a result, he wanted the freedom to be able to show up on whichever brand he wanted to battle whichever superstar he wanted. So if that means like they want to set him up for WrestleMania match with Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman at next year's WrestleMania, I don't know what they're planning for. I'm just throwing names out there. Yeah. They can, or they could do the same if they want to have him battle Sami Zayn or AJ Styles or Shinsuke Nakamura. So
Samoa Joe.
And then in addition to Cena's return, Rusev finally came back in the same segment, and he did not seem happy or enthused. And
I'm not surprised.
It was not a very epic return. He didn't get his title match.
He spent Money in the Bank playing Destiny instead of getting some kind of title match like they should have done.
Yeah. He came out in his Bulgarian flag, and he's like, "I'm Bulgarian, 4th of July, blah, 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 America sucks. Screw you, John Cena." And John Cena,
again, we're reigniting this rivalry for reasons.
So it looks like they're going to have a fight at Battleground. It's going to be a flag match.
Yeah, which is...
And it's like, really? You had a chance to do something new with Rusev, and you resort him back to the Bulgarian evil foreigner gimmick.
Oh,
I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's back, and I hope this goes somewhere. But it looks like he's just a tool for John Cena to go through in order to build him towards further things. And some people are speculating that the reason why he's going through one evil foreigner is so he can go through another evil foreigner at SummerSlam, and maybe beat Jinder and get the record-breaking title win at SummerSlam. Which I'm not against Cena breaking the championship record held by Ric Flair. But I'm just not looking forward to him versus Jinder.
Yeah, exactly.
Then again, there's not very many people I could be excited to watch.
There's so many people John Cena could wrestle at SummerSlam.
Like, I don't want to see him wrestle Jinder Mahal.
Exactly.
I'd love to see him wrestle Shinsuke Nakamura.
I would love to see him wrestle, but this is what I've wanted as a main event, or not a main event, but as a match for WrestleMania for a while now. Mm-hmm. I want to see, they could do it at SummerSlam and I'll be happy, John Cena versus Samoa Joe. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see. That's the match I want to see.
But you know what this could end up turning out to be a good thing, because maybe Cena wins it, and then I don't think right away, because I don't think they want to make the record-breaking title victory really short. But maybe it's something to where like Cena wins, and then the rematch, Cena and Jinder are battling, and Cena survives in some sort of stipulation match, and then Strowman cashes in, and Corbin cashes in, and you get Corbin a win on John Cena. And crown him as champion, so maybe that'll work. We'll see. Anyway, moving on from that opening segment, we then had AJ Styles versus Chad Gable, and the reasoning for that was they were going to finish the show with the 4th of July Battle Royal, which was going to determine the number one contender to Kevin Owens' U.S. Championship. And the reason for this match is both of them lost to Kevin Owens in U.S. title matches, so they had to battle each other to earn a right for the final spot into the Battle Royal.
Because America.
Yeah. And I feel bad for Jason Jordan, because Chad Gable is killing it. That match was awesome.
Yeah,
Gable versus AJ Styles.
They're both really good, so I'm not surprised at all.
Like, Gable took AJ to task. Like, he almost beat AJ. AJ finally won with a flying forearm, and then after the match, AJ, like, called Chad Gable to stand up and shook his hand as a sign of respect. Nice. So, like, I don't know, they might be done with American Alpha, and I don't know what they're going to do with Jason Jordan, but, like, it looks like they're grooming Chad Gable for a singles run, and Gable can do it, because Gable's amazing. I just feel bad for Jordan, because I kind of wanted to see American Alpha be together for a while longer. And I wish
the tag titles and hold it for longer than they did.
Yeah, and I also want to see Jason Jordan succeed in singles thing, but he's really not getting a chance because all the focus on Gable. But
so anyway, people are feeling about Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, but it was good. It was really, really good. Then we had the Carmella Celebration, which I really didn't care about. I kind of tuned it out.
I
really don't care.
Good for Carmella, but James Ellsworth, pass.
The good thing about it though is Daniel Bryan came out and he
announced a third Money in the Bank match.
No, he covered up the thing I said about last week where it was like why don't you strip Carmella if Ellsworth broke the rules by not being in the arena.
Because
so
she didn't break
Daniel
the rules,
Bryan,
but he did.
that's my point. Daniel Bryan came out and he said, "I'm going to fine you $10,000 and suspend you." And Ellsworth was like, "No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous." He's like, "All right, but if you want, since you broke the rules and you came in, and you're with Carmella. If you don't want to take the fine and the suspension, I'll just strip Carmella again of the Money in the Bank." And he was like, "Okay, all right, fine. I'm suspended and I'm fined." But he was like, of course he flipped out. So I was like, "Good. They covered that plot hole.
Thankfully.
Good." So that was a good thing out of that. Then we had Naomi versus Lana. Lana lost in 5 seconds and tapped out. What the hell are they doing to Lana and Rusev?
Just send Lana to Full Sail. If you want her to wrestle, get her trained.
Tamina did come out afterwards, though, and help Lana beat up Naomi after the match, so I don't know what's going on with that.
Whatever.
The other big thing is Naomi has customized the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. It now has LED lights on where all the white is, and it glows RGB colors.
Oh, that's cool.
Which, part of me is like, but the championship, you're kind of toying with the championship, but I was like, that is a really cool visual, and it fits with her.
Yeah,
with her gimmick.
it fits with her character and everything. Kind of like how Austin had the Smoking Skull title.
Yeah,
it was something that.
Or Cena had the fidget spinner belts.
Yeah. God. But yeah, it's something that fits her character, and it's also, if it's just on the white part, that'd be like with this. If it just went around
like pretty
here,
much where all the black is on that.
And that seems like something that could be removed, so that's not really that big of a deal.
So it was interesting. Then we got well, wow, I don't remember this. Baron Corbin apparently attacked Shinsuke Nakamura. I did not remember that.
He blindsided him.
Huh. Well, got to give Corbin something to do at Battleground. I think Corbin's going to eat a loss on that one because you really want to protect Shinsuke.
Yeah.
But you'll probably have Corbin take Nakamura to task and probably come close to beating him.
Yeah, and
It'll
he'll
probably be a
lose,
close contest.
but he's still Mr. Money in the Bank.
And he'll come out looking strong.
Exactly.
No complaints there, really. Then there was the New Day and the Uso rap battle.
Oh, man.
And I made sure to show him. I know he doesn't watch. He boycotts SmackDown because of the whole Jinder Mahal thing. But I made sure to show him some of the lines from that because, good God, that had the potential to be a train wreck, and it was goddamn hilarious. So the New Day and the Usos, they freaking killed this segment.
Oh,
Wale hosted, and he was not like LeVar Ball. He was completely into it.
Well, he's a huge wrestling fan.
Shout out,
his own promotion.
Shout out, by the way, to Mega Ran for being able to get in the background of that and being one of the New Day supporters. He's a good friends with Xavier Woods, and he's an awesome dude.
Nice.
Really good music. Go check him out. He's Mega Ran, also known as Random. He made a WWE theme album. He's also made albums like chiptune albums based off of Final Fantasy Mega Man, and he's also done a rap album that isn't as chiptune to Final Fantasy VII, that where he takes the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack and the Mega Man soundtracks, and he creates rap songs based off of them.
Nice, very nice.
So it's very good. Anyway, the rap battle itself was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't think E or Kofi really had the best lines or bars because their stuff didn't really rhyme as well. It didn't really come off as great. But I do agree with Cam. I think the New Day, the Usos won it, but they got disqualified. The Usos killed it. They had the better lines. The Usos and Woods did the best.
Yeah.
We'll go in progression. The best lines from the rap battle, if you missed it, were the Usos comboed this one. They swapped lines while delivering this insult. They said, "Buddy, we gotta keep it PG, so it's all good, or you know what's good. We don't want to make it R-rated like your boy Xavier Woods," which is a shot. Which is basically, for those who don't know, is a shot at the whole X-rated video off of Paige's phone that Xavier Woods was a part of. And that killed. Like, the crowd went like it was audible.
Crazy.
Wale's knees gave out. He couldn't even take it. He couldn't handle it. Like, it was insane. But Woods, your boy Xavier Woods, he came back and he had some really great lines in a comeback. And he said, oh God, I'm trying to remember the one. He said, you guys used to wear face paint. You used to make us all believers. But, nobody really knew you until your wife put you on Total Divas.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, shit. Because it is true. Like, a lot of people got to know Jimmy Uso, John Better by on Total Divas. So that was like, oh, goddamn, shots fired. And Wale saying, feel the glow. And then the other line was good where it was saying, you guys were doing this. And then we came in, we started rolling. We travel all around the world like true warriors. You could call us Ronin. We don't like to do phone calls internationally because that'd be Roman. And then he said, you guys should just go back to what you do best, which is carrying your bags for Roman. Mm-hmm. Which was also
I think ridiculous. It was Kofi was like
yeah,
in the background. Yeah, that was great.
So those were some great lines. And then that led to physicality. The Usos were like shoved Woods, and then Wally was like, no, you got physical, that's not part of a rap battle, disqualified, you guys lose, New Day wins. Which, good thing he called disqualification, because I think the Usos had the better rap battle.
Yeah, they did.
Because, like I said, Kofi and E didn't really do that great. The Usos were spitting straight fire. Woods spat straight fire, but not enough fire to counteract to make up for E and Kofi, I think. Yeah. But it was an amazing segment. It was a great segment, and I love this rivalry. I freaking love this rivalry so much. Then we also had Aiden English versus Randy Orton, which was to be pretty much happened as you expected. Yeah. Randy Orton beat up Aiden English and won. And then we had
apparently Aiden English won by disqualification.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because the ref was like, get him back in the ring, knock it off. Don't put him. I think it was like, don't put him to the table or something. Randy's like, I don't care. RKO, LOL, out of nowhere.
What are you new here?
I can't recall if Jinder Mahal came out or not because I really.
Who cares?
I don't. Let's
move on from that.
I think it was another thing where it was like, yeah, he came out afterwards and he was like, everybody hates me because of where I'm from, and then it was like, no, everybody hates you because
Canada.
No, everybody hates you because, and Randy was like, yeah, no, everybody hates you because you're a dick, and then it was just another one of those promos. And it's like, yeah. Before we get to the main event, there was also a cool little backstage segment with Ty Dillinger and the Fashion Police, where Ty was walking to the ring, and then
it's about time he's seen again.
Tyler Breeze came out as Tanae Young in a wig and a black dress and tried to interview Ty Dillinger and literally threw the voice and was like, Ty, I just want to know, what are your thoughts about going to the Independence Day Battle Royal and having to face off against the quadruple threat of the Fashion Police, of Breezango? They've got looks, charm, ability, they got great fashion. And Ty's like, is that a question? Is that a question? Like, are you going to ask a question? And Ty's like, and Tyler Breeze is like, so what's your plan going forward for the Independence Day Battle Royal? And Ty Dillinger's like, oh, so we're doing this. Oh, okay, Tyler. He's like, we're actually going to do this. Like, you want me to play along with this? Okay, it's a thing. And so he answers the question, and then he goes off to leave, and he goes, by the way, Tanae, you are a 10. And the whole time, Fandango's in the background being completely discreet about being a construction worker in the background. So he says, by the way, Tanae, you're a 10. He goes, oh, hi, Fandango, and then leaves. And then Fandango's like, how do you know it was us?
That's pretty good.
He's like, and he brought up the fact they might have to fight each other. He's like, we will have to fight each other. But no matter what, we are partners for life. And then they did like a weak fist bump. And then things got a little weird because then Fandango caressed the hair on the wig of Tyler Breeze. And Breeze was like, what are you doing?
It's really weird.
And then it ended. Then we had the Independence Day Battle Royal, which was really, really good. Really freaking good match. And speaking of Ty Dillinger, we haven't seen him in a few weeks. Not only did he get that awesome segment, but he almost won.
Really?
He was one of the last three against Sami Zayn and AJ Styles, and he hit them both with a tiebreaker, had them both outside the ring, But as he went to go after AJ, I believe back body dropped him out and he got eliminated. But he had a shine. He got his crap in on AJ Styles and Sami Zayn, and it made me want to see Ty Dillinger compete for the United States Championship because I love Ty Dillinger and he was awesome.
There is one thing I heard about this match that actually kind of upsets me a lot.
What was that?
Apparently, after the show on WWE.com, they were praising Mojo Rawley for doing such a great job in the Battle Royal.
He did. He turned on Zack Ryder.
And another thing they pointed out was that he did a good job eliminating people such as Connor from the Ascension. And that's when Luke Harper went to Twitter going, well, I'm the one who eliminated Connor, but, thanks for letting people know about that, WWE.com.
Harper did well. He unfortunately didn't get the shine that I feel like he should have gotten.
Exactly.
Mojo with the big moment of eliminating Zack Ryder, and Zack's like, what the hell? And we don't know if he turned on him or not. They did show earlier him preparing for the Battle Royal, and he opened up the bag, and there's the Hype Bros thing, and he kind of looked at the camera, and it seemed like he was a little pissed off. That's what it was. Orton hit Aiden English with the steps. That's what got him DQ'd. But anyway, yeah. So the big stories was Ty looked good.
AJ won.
Well, no, I'll get to that. Mojo turned on Zack Ryder, and then the last two were Sami Zayn and AJ Styles, of course, as you would expect. They did awesome, and then they had a great sequence for the elimination. AJ was in the corner. Sami went for the haluva kick, missed, and went to do his tumble out of the ring, but somehow, someway caught himself on the top rope and did a Shawn Michaels skin the cat.
Nice.
Pulled himself back up. Tried to superplex. It looked like AJ was going to superplex him into the ring, or maybe Falcon Arrow drop him, face or front suplex or whatever they call it, out of the ring. And it looked like Sami was going to counter it, and then Sami, I believe, delivered a shot to AJ. AJ turned around and then just Pele kicked him with the momentum and eliminated Sami, and AJ won.
Very nice.
And so we're gonna get Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles. I think, if I recall correctly, I might be wrong. So if I'm forgetting this, I might be wrong. But I think Kevin Owens attacked AJ after the fact.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Because he was there at ringside for commentary. So,
Yeah.
And that was SmackDown Live.
Mm-hmm.
And then moving on to NXT. What was it that happened on NXT? I'm trying to remember.
There was a tag team match.
Yeah, it started off with Sanity versus... see, I was right. Kevin Owens did attack AJ. It started off with Sanity facing off against Hideo Itami and Cassius Ohno. And Itami didn't turn on Cassius Ohno, but there was problems. Sanity won. It was a great finish. Great storytelling, actually, if you ask me. Basically... Itami was in the match against Dane, was holding his own. Alexander Wolf was going around as if he's going to try and take the legs out of Cassius Ohno, but Ohno saw him coming, jumped down, and started yelling at him. But he walked over towards an opposite corner while he was there, and while he was arguing with Alexander Wolf about not doing any shady crap, Itami had hit Dane with an attack and turned to tag in Ohno, and he wasn't there, and when he turned around, Dane full-on body splashed him into the corner and took momentum from the match. And then once Ohno got back up, every time Itami got the upper hand, he was asking Itami to tag in, and Itami refused to tag in because he wasn't there earlier on in the match to help him tag in.
Yeah.
And then it looked like he was going to get the win on Alexander Wolf, but Alexander Wolf grabbed the top rope. Killian Dane got the blind tag in. Alexander Wolf smiled because he knew that the blind tag was in, despite the fact that he was about to eat a GTS. He ate the GTS, and then Itami turned around right into a flying huge cross, the flying huge cross body that Dane does. That's all kind of like what Bray Wyatt used to do.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. And then Wolf smiled and was smiling in the corner as Dane picked him up, and they walked out victorious. And then it went out with Ohno and Itami arguing with each other, but no actual physicality or them fighting.
Yeah.
Then I'm trying to remember what else happened on NXT. I know about the main event. They recapped the Iron Woman match which looked great. They had a promo with Ember Moon, who said, I can't wait for my opportunity against Asuka. And then Ruby Riot they were in the performance center, so Ruby Riot came out of one of the training rings. She's like, I'm sorry, but you had your chance, and so did Nikki Cross.
So
it's
did
my
you
turn.
Twice.
Well, not in a she meant one-on-one.
True.
So she's like, it's my turn now to get the one-on-one opportunity. So, and then Ember Moon was like, whatever, Asuka's the end goal, and I'm going to go through whoever gets in my way. So it looks like we're going to get a Ruby Riot Ember Moon match at some point. We also had a Peyton Royce and Billie Kay thing where they were just arguing about how, like, only Peyton was there and helping Billie Kay celebrate her birthday. And then Andrade Cien Almas was arguing with some woman in the back. We don't know if it's a female superstar or not. And then, the interviewee went to go talk to Almas, and he was just like, she was like, who is that? And he was like, Esa, Esa Loca or something like that. Like, she's crazy, like in Spanish. I can't remember exactly what he said. And then we got, Roderick Strong pack, like a whole title match package. The title match was a half hour long. I remember I could have sworn there was another match on the show, but I just can't recall. We had a Drew Galloway interview and a Drew Galloway package, and they're asking, your plan was the NXT Championship, but you got Roderick Strong battling right now, and there are other superstars making claim to the NXT Championship, such as Killian Dane. It's the first thing I've hearing about this.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. I thought Eric Young would be the first one out of Sanity to challenge for the NXT Championship, then Killian Dane. But he said it doesn't matter whether or not it's Roderick Strong, Bobby Roode, or Killian Dane. The fact of the matter is that the story is going to end with Drew McIntyre as NXT champion.
And then NXT closes its doors.
And then if I forgot another match, I apologize, but I'm just going to go straight into the main event. About a half-hour-long match between Strong and Bobby Roode. It had really good psychology. Roode worked
his leg, right?
His leg, so that way he couldn't hit with his knees and stuff. Roddy Strong kept doing backbreakers to work his back, to weaken his back, especially so when he did the Impaler DDT, it wouldn't have as much effect or it would hurt him. And that's exactly what happened. Roode hit the first Impaler DDT, sold his back for a split second, and that was enough to give Roderick Strong enough time to kick out. Mm-hmm. Roddy Strong kicked out of the Impaler DDT. Then
Glorious DDT, but okay.
Well, they call it the Glorious Impaler DDT, it is Impaler DDT. They exchange what they call it every week. And they also had or what was it? Then Strong got onto a House of Fire, finally hit his knee, hit his knee again in the corner, did a backbreaker almost like the Cedric Alexander's finisher, which I keep forgetting what it's called, the lumbar check, and then pinned Roode 1, 2, and on 3 Roode got his foot under the rope, but the ref counted to 3. Strong started to celebrate, his music started, the announcer started announcing your new NXT champion, but then he stopped because the ref was like, no. Roddy Strong still hears his music, he's celebrating with his wife and his mother at ringside, and then the ref has to go tell him, no, he got his foot under the rope, but just in the nick of time, the match has to keep going. And so the ref goes back into the ring to go tell the timekeeper what's happening. Strong gets up onto the apron, and Roode shoves him into the guardrail right in front of his wife and his mother. Then goes out there and Impaler DDTs him on the outside, sells his back, so good on him.
Yeah.
Brings him back in and Impaler DDTs him a second time, 1, 2, 3, match over. And then he taunted his wife and his mother, more so his wife, from the entrance ramp after he won, blew her a kiss and everything. So
that makes 2 NXT title matches in a row that ended with 2 consecutive Glorious Impaler DDTs.
Mm-hmm. And both times, it was the reason the first one didn't work was because somebody psychologically attacked a body part on him and it hurt him. With the Tommy, it was his shoulder. With Strong, it was his back. Mm-hmm. So, good storytelling. The match was good, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I wanted to get behind Roddy Strong, and I wanted him to have an amazing, amazing match with Roode, but that just wasn't what this was. It was a good match. It was a good title match. It was entertaining, and had great psychology and good storytelling, and it paves the way for a rematch at TakeOver Brooklyn 3, which I would love to see, which I'm sure is going to be good, but it just wasn't as high as I guess it didn't meet my expectations.
Yeah.
But And then just one other thing I want to say about NXT is I believe this was Mauro Ranallo was on commentary. I believe this is his first week back on the commentary desk.
Last week was.
It was the second week? Okay. So I wasn't sure if this was his first or second week, but it's the first week I'm hearing him on there, and it's good to hear Mauro Ranallo's voice again.
Mauro.
It's a little weird hearing him on NXT and not Tom Phillips, but I'm sure I'll get used to it because I love Mauro.
I mean, one of my favorite things I've heard in recent years from anyone from a commentary team is hearing Mauro Ranallo randomly in a match going, "This match is like when a dentist meets a carpenter, tooth and nail."
Oh, God.
Loved it.
Mamma mia. And also, one thing that I learned, apparently, rumors are saying that his, or reports are stating that his contract has him reporting directly to Michael Cole and Triple H, and not to any other executives that maybe might be influenced by a certain Bradshaw Rayfield, first name John.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's good. Because, I mean, he's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm a little upset, not terribly, but a little upset that he's not involved with the commentary team for the Mae Young Classic. But I wish it was 3-person team with him involved, but I'm just as happy with it being just good old JR and Lita.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the Mae Young Classic, they showed Aaliyah losing a qualifier match for the Mae Young Classic to one of the actual competitors. I can't remember her name, but she looked good. It's gonna be interesting.
What she looked like? Fighting style, anything like that?
I honestly can't remember. I just remember she beat Aaliyah.
All right.
She was good. Looks exciting.
Later.
Anyway, that's it for the week in review. So now we're gonna move on to predictions for Great Balls of Fire. And I'm gonna make the calls that will get me back this.
Sure.
This. By the way, you're not getting to 434 at all. I know that's why you're wearing that shirt, but you're not going to wear it. You're not going to make it.
I was just wearing this because I was like, the shirt I was going to wear, I wore last week.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's go through the Great Balls of Fire card, and we will count off our predictions. We decided to set a new rule. The champion will always pick first in predictions. This way, a champion cannot purposefully pick the same picks as the challenger, which neither of us would do, but we're just protecting ourselves anyway.
Yeah.
So that way they can't win by the champion's advantage tie, and just keep the championship forever. Also, so that way if the challenger wants to try and be different, so that way they have a better chance of winning the championship, they have that opportunity.
Yes.
So Dennis will be picking first for every single match, and then I will be making my pick, either picking the same or deciding to be contrarian and trying to win the championship back to where it rightfully belongs by picking somebody else.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, we kick things off with
greatest.
The kickoff match.
Longest reigning.
Shut up. I am talking with predictions and matches. I'm giving you a match card to make a prediction, so
I got it right there.
when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
No. When my title goes up, your mouth goes shut.
No. First match, we are kicking off with the kickoff match.
Really?
Cruiserweight Championship match. Neville versus Akira Tozawa.
Neville.
Yeah.
Neville level. 100%.
Yeah. Neville.
I like Tozawa. I want to see him hold the title one day, especially while part of the Titus brand.
Yeah.
Titus International. But Neville. I gotta go with Neville. I love Neville.
I like the Titus brand. I like what they're doing with Tozawa. I want to see more of Tozawa. But if Neville didn't lose the title to Austin Aries, he ain't losing it for a while.
I don't think
I feel
he's
like
losing
Austin
it
Aries is
until
the guy
at
he
least
should lose
SummerSlam.
it to.
I
So
don't know about that. I could see him losing it to someone like Cedric Alexander or something.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't think he's losing it until at the earliest SummerSlam.
Cedric Alexander, I feel like maybe right now the way I'm only thinking of it is Austin Aries, Jack Gallagher, maybe Cedric Alexander. But like I don't think TJP should win it off of him. I don't think Brian Kendrick should win it off of him. Certainly not Noam Dar, Drew Gulak, or those guys who are middling around in the middle of nowhere in the Cruiserweight division. Not Lince Dorado.
Ooh, you know it would be nice? I doubt they'll do it, but if they brought back someone who they said was going to be a part of 205
Tajiri?
Live. No. Who they said was going to be a part of 205 Live. I never saw him on there and was a finalist in the Cruiserweight Classic. Grand Metalik. If they brought him back and for SummerSlam for that, I would lose it. That would be amazing. But
I'm not big on Grand Metalik, but yeah, I don't see Neville losing anytime soon. The only way I feel like Aries is the one who's gonna beat him, and the only way that'll change is if maybe they decide to put Aries on like the main roster, and not be in the Cruiserweight division anymore. But we'll see. Next up, Enzo Amore versus Big Cass.
Big Cass.
Okay. I'm torn about this because I think Big Cass is going to win. But there is a small part of me that thinks maybe the scrappy Enzo steals a victory to set up something at SummerSlam.
It's possible.
Blah, 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 blah. Or maybe Enzo even wins by disqualification.
That's possible.
I'm going to go Big Cass. I might change my mind if we end up having a deadlock by the end of this.
Okay.
So not final, but right now I'm saying Big Cass.
Mm.
We got Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Hardy Boys. 30-minute Iron Man match.
Hardy Boys.
All right.
The Hardy Boys.
I think the Hardy Boys will win, especially since, as I said, Sheamus is supposed to shoot a movie in August. But I feel like Sheamus and Cesaro have been so hot, and the Hardy Boys are close to getting the broken gimmick back, and I don't think you can turn them broken with them as champions. I feel like they have to be chasing the title to be going after the things in the broken gimmick, and I feel like since they're a tag team, if filming's only going to happen for a couple of weeks, they could have Cesaro be that presence while Sheamus shoots, and Sheamus can be back in time for SummerSlam.
Quickly.
So I'm going to go with Cesaro and Sheamus.
Very quickly. Sup, right back.
Yo, Big Super, what up, man? So I think I'm going to go with Cesaro and Sheamus.
All right.
Miz versus Dean Ambrose.
Miz.
Yeah, I think Miz is going to win. The fact that he's got the Miz Taraj around, and the fact that Dean Ambrose has not been good with the IC title around his waist. I think this needs to be done and over with, and they need to both move on from this rivalry after this match. Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt.
I am going to go with Bray Wyatt because I believe in Bray Wyatt, and he needs this.
That's actually
Seth Rollins doesn't need it as much as Bray Wyatt does.
That's actually who I'm going to go for because Bray needs this. I think if Bray Wyatt loses this match or loses this rivalry, his career is practically over. Yeah. Nobody's going to take him seriously anymore. And as much as Seth needs this win too, Wyatt is in a place where his career, his future, the future of his gimmick practically relies on it.
Seth doesn't need it as much because he's the cover athlete for the new game, and they're not going to, do anything. Like, they're not going to just throw him to the side after they just announced that he's going to be the cover athlete of a game that comes out in October. He's probably going to start getting a big push around that time. He has a chance to lose now and it not really hurt him and still be built back up in time for that.
Yeah. Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks.
Bliss.
Me too. I do not think Alexa is losing anytime soon, especially in the first match that she has with Sasha. If she's going to lose the title, I think she'll lose it at SummerSlam.
Exactly.
Depending on who her opponent is. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman in an ambulance match.
As much as I don't want to do this, I'm going to go with Roman.
Really? You did that to me. I was gonna do Roman too, you son of a bitch. Because, part of me, it really all depends on what they want to do with SummerSlam. Because I've been hearing reports that they want Braun to face Lesnar at SummerSlam, but I've also been hearing reports they want to do Roman versus Lesnar at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And Roman has lost the last match. And Roman has been made to look weak with the exception of that little bit of he might survive against Strowman on Raw. So, part of me says don't discredit Strowman and bring Strowman down with a loss. But the way they've been doing this angle and the rumors, makes me think Roman.
I'm guessing it's going to end with a spear into the ambulance.
That's actually a pretty damn good call.
Yeah, see? That's why I'm the champ.
I want to be contrarian and be different from you.
Then do it.
But I was going to pick friggin' Roman because I thought you were going to go with Strowman.
Nope.
God damn it, man. You know what I'm going to do? I'll make this crazy. I'll go with Braun. And then I'm going to change things up. I'm going to change my prediction from Big Cass to Enzo. So that way there are 3 different matches we've got on this card. Different. So that way there's...
Okay.
And it's an odd number. So one of us will be a clear winner. Because I know who we're both picking. I know who we're both picking in the main event.
Yeah, isn't it obvious we're both going with Baron Corbin?
Joe Samoan.
Or should we say, as Roman Reigns would, Samoa Joe is how he says it. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Beast incarnate.
Yeah,
Paul Heyman.
I think there's
client,
no
Brock Lesnar.
question that Brock Lesnar's winning this match. I think all we're hoping for is that Joe comes out looking strong and doesn't get destroyed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all we're hoping for. So yeah, okay. So there we go. We got our predictions. They're done now. I'm hoping to God that my second guessing doesn't cost me a championship again. There's always Battleground.
We'll see.
But we both have Neville in the pre-show cruiserweight title match over Akira Tozawa.
#longest
Can you not? You're getting rid of the light on my face, and I'm trying to read what our predictions are. Adam Pacitti picked Joe. Why? Why would Adam Pacitti do that? I mean, it'd be a great swerve, and everybody would love it. But why? You're building for Lesnar Joe, or Lesnar Roman.
Or Lesnar Strowman. Or
Maybe
Lesnar
Pacitti just wanted to be a
else.
contrarian. I don't know. Anyway, we both had Neville in the cruiserweight title match over Akira Tozawa. I have Enzo Amore over Colin Cassidy, or Big Cass. You have Big Cass. See, my belief is it's going to be either a fluke quick win, and Enzo's going to probably destroy Enzo afterwards, or Enzo's going to win on a technicality because Big Cass is going to destroy him so hard that it's going to be a DQ, which is going to set up a match at SummerSlam. I have Cesaro and Sheamus retaining their championships over the Hardy Boys in the Iron Man match. You have them, the Hardy Boys, winning and getting the championships back. And I believe the Hardy Boys will hopefully, sometime between here and SummerSlam, go broken. And hopefully...
We'll see.
Well, Meltzer's reporting that reported last week that the Hardys and Anthem Sports are close.
Yeah, but this week PW Insider said that that's not actually true and that they're actually still very far apart.
Whatever.
So...
Miz versus Dean Ambrose, IC title match. We both have Miz.
Mm-hmm.
Rollins versus Bray Wyatt. We both have Wyatt because if Rollins wins, I think Bray Wyatt is done as a character.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. We both agree that it's too soon to take the championship off Bliss. Bliss is gonna win.
Sorry, I'm not sure about
You
that.
shut up, Echo. You shut your mouth.
Apparently, Echo is voting for Sasha Banks.
I just realized I have voted for every single champion to retain tonight, so that might not go well for me. Hopefully we're both wrong about either Neville or Alexa Bliss then. Then you have Roman Reigns, I have Braun Strowman, though I honestly think this match is very much 50-50 up in the air. I think either person could win, and I think it would work just as well. And a lot of people who think, it'll kill Strowman, I don't think so, because Strowman beat Roman one-on-one already and has been destroying Roman and everybody else in his path.
I'm part of the reason that I'm going with Roman is because, I mean, it's already been announced that Roman is the number one contender for SummerSlam. This isn't a number one contenders match. It's just a match between the two of them. You're going to have the guy that's going to face for the Universal Championship do that.
Yeah, I think Roman's going to win, but I'm picking Braun just so that way we have different results. Okay. Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe. We both have Brock Lesnar. So there's that. I mean, unless we want to have maybe... Actually, you know what I think? Unless Strowman wins, and then maybe Strowman claims that he should be the number one contender, and maybe sometime between now and SummerSlam they have a number one contenders match and Roman wins.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't think they would do that on a random Raw. But
don't underestimate the writers.
Yeah, true. I mean,
All right, so that's our predictions, and we now move on from wrestling to video games. You can take over for video games because I did most of the wrestling.
Doomfist.
I'm sorry, what? Is that our weekly Overwatch news?
Yes, it is. Doomfist has been announced, finally, and they did an origin video, and they did a video of Jeff Kaplan discussing him, and they have him on the PTR.
And I got to play as him.
God, it looks like so much fun. I'm so excited he's here. There's only one downside about Doomfist. And you know what that is?
What?
That it's not Terry Crews.
Yeah, Terry Crews didn't do the voice. For those of you who don't know, Doomfist, he is one of the longest teased, what are they called?
Characters,
heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Although he's not a hero, he's a villain. In the Overwatch game, in the very first ever Overwatch teaser, there was the Numbani museum that had two kids ogling
his
over
gauntlet.
Doomfist Gauntlet, talking about how Doomfist had an epic fight with Winston and Winston beat him. And ever since then, we've been wanting to see Doomfist. He was teased when there was reports of the Doomfist Gauntlet being stolen and breaking all those bots, and then that turned out to be Orisa.
Mm-hmm.
But we finally now have Doomfist. And for those of you who do not know who Doomfist is in the lore of the series, basically...
it was recently announced, at least.
Yeah.
That he is one of the leaders of Talon.
Yeah.
The terrorist organization that Reaper is also a leader of now.
Yeah, we found out that Reaper is not the sole leader of Talon, that it is more of a council, kind of like a Legion of Doom, or Legion of supervillains, whatever that was from the 60s cartoon.
The Evil League of Evil.
Yeah.
From Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Vlog.
Yeah, but anyway, he was one of the leaders. He got into a fight with Overwatch, got into a battle with Genji, Tracer, and Winston. He knocked out Tracer and Genji, but he also removed the Slipstream device, or whatever that's called.
Yeah, from
Tracer, which basically sent Winston into his gorilla rage. And Winston basically beat Doomfist, arrested him, and he had been wasting away in a prison. But Talon didn't want one of their leaders wasting away for a while, and they broke him out. And he went to Numbani and got his gauntlet back. So now he is back as a leader of Talon and terrorizing the planet. And he has a belief that humanity only evolves through conflict and war and battles, and that Overwatch as a peacekeeping organization and just peacekeeping in general is not good for or not beneficial to the future of the human race and for evolution.
Yeah. But my God, I'm so glad that he's finally here.
He's a lot of fun to play as. Like I said, I got to play with him for about an hour last night in the PTR. I live streamed it here on this channel on Twitch. So go to my channel, go to my videos, go to my past broadcasts. It should be there. I'm going to hopefully be able to break it off into a highlight soon. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening, go to twitch.tv/L_Murpho. Look for it there. He is a lot of fun. He is one of my favorite characters already. I only playing him for like an hour. He's already one of my favorite characters. I want to main him. He is very high on combos. His abilities charge quickly, so that way you can combo them together. He has a Falcon Punch, basically, like I call it, which is a rocket punch where you can charge it up to 4 bars, and that'll determine how far and how hard Doomfist flies and hits with the punch. And if you fully charge it, you can one-hit kill the squishier defense and support opponents. Or basically, you can one-hit kill non-tanks.
And it can also go through barriers. So if you've got a team coming up with like an Orisa or a Reinhardt, you could just go right through that and hit someone. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's because it's a physical attack. Those barriers only block projectiles. Yeah. So, makes sense. And his other ability is a Shoryuken, which is a rising uppercut. Where he will go into an uppercut and interrupt the person and knock them into the air, which you can then use to shoot or hit one of your other moves with. He also has a slam, where you slam down and then in a cone like this outwards. If it hits anybody in that cone, it stuns them. So you can get in there, uppercut somebody, slam down to stun their opponents, rocket punch. Maybe you've already rocket punched to take out one person, rocket punch to get out or hit somebody else.
And he's also got the little shotgun on his wrist, which, if I'm seeing everything correct, you don't actually have to reload it. Does it on its own? Is that correct?
You can't reload it.
Yeah.
I don't think you can reload it. He basically has a barrel in each knuckle, and in between each of the knuckles, like one here, 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 and here. And basically, each round fires from one of the knuckles, and it recharges and reloads automatically over time.
Okay.
And it's represented physically both in the lower right corner, but there's also 4 dots, like 4 blue dots in the middle that will show you how many of them you have.
No, that's good.
And that works with Doomfist because he's so chaotic trying to get in as a flanker and do so much stuff and combo all that stuff. Having that right there makes it easier to let you know how your ammo's doing. And you can either fire them really quick or just take your time with it, but the regeneration rate's going to be all the same.
He's also got that passive ability, which I don't know.
Yeah, his passive ability is whenever he hits one of his abilities, he gains a little bit of shields temporarily. So, like, if I hit all 3 of my abilities in succession, I'll get, I think, like 50 to 75 or 100 health and shields that will then, like, start immediately counting down like a timer.
Yeah,
basically
automatically
down.
decays. Yeah.
So you basically it helps you stay alive a little bit longer and endure some stuff. And if you can really combo your abilities back to back to back, you can stay alive a little longer before you dive out. Like I said, he's much more of a flanking. He's not really a tank. He's not really an offensive DPS person. He's a DPS in the terms of, with Doomfist, what you want to do is you want to get around behind the enemy team or flank them and get in, hit your abilities to combo once, maybe combo twice, and then get out.
Yeah, from what I understand, he's also good for just breaking up a charge. Like, if someone's coming in with Reinhardt, you could, like, if everyone behind him, he could go through, hit Reinhardt, take down his barrier, and open it up and cause chaos. People will then start to focus on you, and your team could go and take him out with no protection.
Yeah, he can also
He's very versatile.
He can also completely destroy a backline.
Yep.
Because that rocket punch, like I said, if it's fully charged, it can one-hit kill a healer. So if you can time it and aim it right, like top-level players can pick out a healer and come in from the flank and just immediately kill a healer right off the bat and then just interrupt the rest of the line. And that could just entirely destroy a defense or a push.
Yeah, and another thing that I've seen people talk about, which is also good, is things like with Hanamura, with that map. When you're going to the first checkpoint to try and take it over, you gotta go through that gated area in order to get to where the point is. And it's very hard to get through there sometimes. Now you got Doomfist on the team. He could just rocket punch right to the checkpoint and break up the line and distract people and help get your team through.
Yeah.
So it'll make things like that a lot easier having him. And he's a lot faster than people thought he would be.
Yeah, he's pretty fast. And his ultimate ability is known as the Meteor Strike, where he basically launches up into the air. You don't see him. Like, he's literally gone off the map. He goes so high. And then you see a cone reticle if you're playing as him. If you don't play as him, you don't know where he's going to land. So you just kind of got to decide if you're going to stick it out or run. Mm-hmm. And basically you have a little cone right by the immediate circle. That's kind of like the death circle, where if you hit anybody in that circle, they're pretty much dead. Yeah. And then there's an outer circle of damage that you deal to them, where you'll deal a lot of damage, and if they're weakened, you can kill them. And basically you pick the spot and you launch down there. So you launch up in the air, you move your reticle around until you find a spot, and I believe you're timed, so it will eventually just run out and it'll come down. But you'll pick a spot, and then you can slam on people. And if you slam immediately on people, you can kill them. And I was able to successfully get a triple kill on one time, and it's really good. And it also sends people outwards. It sends people outwards away from where you slammed. So it's not only like a heavy damage dealer, but it's also an interrupt.
Yeah.
And it's split. And if the team is grouped up together, it spreads them apart. And you can separate healers from tanks and whatnot and all that stuff. So he's a very versatile, very fun character to play as. I can't wait until he's in the main game. I want to play the crap out of him when he's in the main game.
I'm so excited for him to come to consoles and finally get to play as him. It looks like so much fun.
Yeah. And another fun thing that I like about him, very much like a Street Fighter character, like Ryu, he says the name of most of his attacks. Like, he'll say, Rising Uppercut and Meteor Strike. So he's almost like a fighting game character in that regard.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like when I was streaming last night, whenever he said that, I would instead go, Falcon Punch, Shoryuken. It's fun.
Oh man,
it was good times.
Falcon Punch.
All right.
Falcon Punch. Mm-hmm. Falcon Punch. And then another thing that's happened recently is the game Shadow of Mordor has gotten an update to the game, where you can now, when the sequel comes out, have your greatest nemesis and your greatest ally of orcs from the game transfer over into the sequel Shadow of War.
Which is cool. I kind of wish they had that from the beginning. Because I don't know if that does that work retroactively with old saves, or do you have to play the game now?
I'm pretty sure it's whatever saved you have, you can go into it.
So that's cool.
It has a separate mode called the Nemesis Forge, where you're able to go through and transfer the characters from there.
Okay, cool. Because that's cool. I don't know if I had any nemesis left really when I ended the game, because I think I might have destroyed all my nemesis. But I think I had some allies, so that would be cool to have them transfer over. That's a nice, cool little continuity thing. Mm-hmm. And it's especially cool to announce that now, given the fact that Shadow of Mordor is on sale both on the PS4 and it's only like $4, the Game of the Year edition on PC for the Steam summer sale. So like that's a great way to entice people to pick up the game right now and play it.
Yeah.
So, and Shadow of War looks like it's gonna be fun. So,
it looks like so much fun. Yeah, it's a neat little thing. Also, the cost of Riot points for League of Legends in the UK is about to increase, and the developers' explanation for that is Brexit. basically, because of that, the value of the pound has dropped dramatically, and they kept the price the same in-game, but they've realized that by doing that, they're basically getting these things at a much cheaper rate than most other people in the world are, so they're going to be increasing the price because of the inflation to match up what it will be with people around the world.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens when you decide you're going to leave the EU and cause a massive economic shift like that. But, I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. And also, I'll let you take a little bit of a lead on this with Bungie announcing what is going to be in the beta for Destiny 2. Because
Yes.
I know you are a big fan of Destiny.
I am a huge fan of Destiny 2. I'm going to be playing the crap out of the beta. It's a week and a half away. Cannot wait. I've got the beta on PS4. I still need to pre-order it on Xbox One, and I already have it pre-ordered for PC because I am weird and I am giving Bungie lots and lots of money so that way I can play this game. I have friends on PS4. I have my girlfriend on Xbox One. I have friends on PC, and I want to play all versions. Anyway, the beta for Destiny, which early access is the 17th or 18th. I think it's the 18th. I think it's 17th for PS4, 18th for Xbox One, and then it's public as of the 20th.
18th for PS4, 19th on Xbox One, and 21st for public.
So what the beta is going to include is pretty much everything that was at the gameplay reveal.
Yeah.
The first story mission, which people think you might actually experience the whole thing with all the cinematics, because they think you started halfway through. Anyway, you get to that. The inverted spire strike that was there. The new gameplay mode, the bomb
two
mode.
new,
what was it
competitive
called?
modes, countdown and control.
Well, control wasn't in the gameplay reveal.
True.
That's an extra thing that people are going to get to play. Controls was the classic, more popular multiplayer mode in Destiny. If you've played Domination in Call of Duty, it's that pretty much. And then in addition to those, I think it's those four things, and then
the new subclasses.
You'll play as the new subclasses. I think it's only the new subclasses, so you won't get to play as the old ones: the Gunslinger, the Voidwalker, and not the Sentinel, the Striker. You won't get to play as those. You will play as the Sentinel, which is Captain America Titan. Mm-hmm. The Dawnblade, which is the Flaming Sword Warlock, and the Arcstrider, which is the Pole Dancer Judo Hunter.
Yep.
Lightning Rod Hunter. So that'll be cool. You get to try out the new classes. And then the last thing that's going to be done is on Sunday, July 23rd, for 1 hour, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yep.
That's 1 p.m. Eastern time and 6 p.m. if you're in the UK. They will be opening up the social space known as the Farm for 1 hour for people to go ahead and just walk around and look at it and see what it's going to be like. They said not all the vendors are going to be available, and they basically just said it's just that people can go in, play around with a little soccer field, get a feel for it, make friends with the chicken AI that are in there because they're little chickens.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
So, Destiny meets Farmville.
Yes, and we also got a bunch of other Destiny news this week as well. We got to look at the farm. We saw that there will be a Cryptarch, which is the person who decrypts all your engrams that you get in the game, and it's not Master Rahul, the Tower Cryptarch. It is Eva Leventi, I think her name is, or something like that, or Tyra Karn. I don't know why. Eva Leventi is, I think, the Eververse trader. Tyra Karn, who is the Cryptarch at the Iron Temple from Rise of Iron. So that's leading people to believe that maybe Master Rahul was killed in the attack on the tower, and a lot of people don't care because Master Rahul was a dick. Oh, you've got a purple here? Well, you're hoping that there's a chance it might be an exotic, definitely a legendary. Well, guess what? It's a rare.
A lot of people think that, and a lot of people just don't fucking care.
Yeah. As I said, there's the soccer field. We found Shaq's Crucible robots. They are the robots that go out.
Shaquille O'Neal, you said.
Shaq's, not Shaq.
Well, I thought it was Shaq apostrophe S. Shaq.
No,
as in
no.
his belongings.
You know what I said. You know what I said.
I think that would make it more interesting.
You know what I said. Let me continue. Those robots. We saw those getting worked on. Those robots in the lore, what they do is they basically go out and they clear areas that become the Crucible maps for Guardians to battle in.
Okay.
So we saw them being repaired. There's rumors that they might be featured in the game, in the storyline somehow, in missions. We might see them. We got to see the chickens. We got to see the a hangar where the ships and sparrows are being stored. It's speculated that's where Amanda Holiday will end up because, as they said, the farm is going to be a like evolving sort of social space or progressive social space. Where as you, I don't know if that means they didn't offer any more details aside from that, just that it will evolve over time. But they didn't specify if that means it'll evolve over time in real time, like new vendors will show up with expansions and stuff, or for certain events, which the regular tower already did, or if as the story continues and you maybe find more and more NPCs, like they will then join the farm, and then maybe expansions will come, or maybe the farm will get bigger. We don't know. And then that also raises the question, we don't know if that means that people who are earlier on in the story will be able to go into the farm with people who are further along, because theirs will be more advanced, and how that would work. But we'll find out later. We also found out that for certain game things, like potentially the raid and Nightfall, you are going to be lockout loaded or loadout locked. I got that a little other way around. So you won't be able to freely switch weapons and armor or subclasses. So it'll force people to be locked into one specific type of way of playing, and work together and try to figure out actual proper team builds instead of just being able to swap things at will. I'm trying to think. We also got to see a look at the world map, and it will showcase treasure quests, public events, and when it shows the public event, there's a little outer timer, like an orange line around the diamond that will count down to show you like how much longer until the event starts. It'll have like an actual time telling you.
Nice.
It'll state what rewards there are. It will list missions and whatnot. I'm trying to think what else we got out of the reveal. I think there were a couple other things, but it is escaping my memory right now. We know that in the current build from the video that we saw yesterday, that there are now only 2 subclass like diamonds. There's the main one and then one small one. And the E3 build and the I believe the creator event or reveal event, there were 2 of them. So we believe that all 3 subclasses were going to be like available at the start of the game, but now there's only 2, so there's speculation that there won't be a 3rd subclass at the start of the game, kind of like with Destiny 1, and you might get the 3rd subclass in an expansion or something like that, or maybe it's just a free update later. We don't know.
Okay.
And that's pretty much all I can recall on the Destiny 2 news that we got so far. The Destiny 2 news is going to keep coming all week now, though. Today is officially Bungie Day, so there might be some good stuff revealed today. They've got the IGN first deal with IGN, where basically IGN gets the scoop and features them as their game of the month, and has like stories come out on a daily basis during the week for like almost the entire month of July, or entire month in general. So I'm sure we'll get more news today. I don't know about over the weekend, maybe over the weekend, and definitely next week. So
yeah.
If you wanna get some scoops on Destiny news, or you want to find out more about Destiny, be sure to keep yourself checked in to IGN over the course of the week.
Yep.
So that's the big Destiny blowout. We bookended it with big Overwatch news and big Destiny news.
Yeah, I'm mostly excited for the Overwatch, though. I am so excited. I've been playing so much Overwatch. Or whenever I get the chance. I've actually been expanding the characters I play as.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, yeah. I play as a lot of different characters now. I'm kind of surprising myself.
Cool.
Although my favorites are still probably like Junkrat and Torbjorn.
McCree's one of my favorites. But that's a whole different type of thing.
Yes.
Talking about players, not gaming news, which is over. And that thus brings us to the end of episode 14 of the Super Grapple Bros podcast. Next week, you guys will get us reviewing Great Balls of Fire and finding out...
to it.
And what?
Reacting to it as
well. Yeah, reacting to it and reviewing it. And we will see whether or not the wrongs will be righted, and if this guy gets the championship he so rightfully was screwed out of last time we did predictions. Or if, evil will reign supreme and terror will, ensue amongst the viewing base and listening base.
And what he means by that is we're going to see if I continue to be your longest reigning and greatest predictions champion, or if he's going to be our first ever unfortunate 2-time.
I will be the first ever two-time champion. It's going to happen next week. Get ready. Be sure to stay tuned for that.
You can't even count because you just did 2 times 3 times.
It's what Booker T does. I was ripping off of Booker T.
But he does it the number of times that he's held it.
I could have sworn he only does it 3 times.
No, when he
Could've
was
sworn only does
5 times, he would do it 5
times.
times.
I thought he only did
No,
5
he would
times,
do it
5 times,
5
5 time
times.
champ. I'm not still salty. I am not still salty, big stupid. You be quiet.
No, you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you keep using things like evil and stuff, despite the fact that I won fair and square, and then I retained fair and square by the rules, and why I'm going to continue to retain
You know what?
fair and
I was
square.
doing an outro, and I was at a really good spot, and then you interrupted me.
You're welcome.
So thank you for that.
No problem.
Anyway, be sure to stay tuned next time. Do not forget that you guys can catch us in video form. You can catch us live on Twitch at twitch.tv/L_Murpho every single Friday. Times vary, so we apologize for that, but we try to do the best we can. You can catch us every Saturday on YouTube. That is on video on demand, VOD. That is at youtube.com/LMurphoReal. You can also catch us in audio form on SoundCloud and iTunes at Super Grapple Bros in both places.
Don't forget
And-
to rate, review, and subscribe.
Yes.
Helps with the algorithms and all that.
Yes. And we are also in location where other various places, where you can find podcasts. So be sure to check us out there as well.
If you have any
And-
questions, feel free to email us at supergrapplebros@gmail.com.
Yes. Any questions, topic ideas, whatever you guys want to hear us talk about, or if you have any questions about our thoughts, takes, opinions on anything in the world of wrestling and video games, let us know. We are interested to read them and hopefully answer them.
Yeah.
So that is all for DMurph. I am El Murpho. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you guys next week.
Yep.
Take care. New champion incoming.
Sure. Whatever.
Yep.
Champ is here. Peace.
Deuces. Deuce, deuce, deuce. Deuce, deuce, deuce. Deuce, deuce, deuce. That's it.
Shut up and sit down.